Welcome back to Homestead Rewind, everybody. Did you see my video on how I got this chicken cut up? If not, you can click this link. In this video, I'm going to show you how to fry this chicken, and I'm going to tell you a little story about how I learned. Come along with me. So a couple days have went by since I did the fried chicken video, and like I said before, it just got to taking too long of an amount of time. But because of the pause, it sent me back to thinking about how I learned to fry chicken in the first place. Now, most of you that have been watching my videos know that my grandmother helped raise me. My mother worked very hard to keep us kids clothed and fed. But Grandma did help, and she helped a very big amount, especially in my early teens. One day I went up the hill, because we lived down below Grandma and Grandpa in a trailer just below, and I went up the hill and I told Grandma, I said, I want to make Mom something really special. She's been working really hard. And it was about this time of the year. It was about time for school to go back into session, and Mom was working very, very hard with the Head Start, getting ready for it to get started. So Grandma rummaged around in her freezer and come up with this whole chicken. And I took one look at that chicken and I said, Grandma, how do I cut this up? And she said, with a knife, and sent me down the hill. Okay, that first chicken was a massacre, but hey, I cut it up, and you can too. It doesn't have to be perfect. It does not have to be perfect, and don't let nobody tell you that it does. It's still going to eat the same no matter how it looks. And that lesson my grandma taught me that day has went with me forever. Now, I have several different methods on the way that I cook fried chicken, but I wanted to bring everybody back to this simple recipe, especially for anyone who has not cooked chicken before and wants to try the simplest way to cook fried chicken on the bone. I'll now take you to the second half of cutting up, frying a chicken. When you're frying chicken, it's important to find the deepest pan that you've got. This is the deepest one I've got here at the camper. And so this is the one that I'm going to use. I always use cast iron, so I don't know what the differences are in the thinner skillets, you know, that you buy with the coating and everything on it. All I've ever used is cast iron, so this is how I'm going to show you. You want your cast iron skillet to be at least 2 inches deep, because you're going to need a lot of oil in there to fry that chicken. My favorite oils, my favorite fats to use is either lard or coconut oil when I'm frying chicken. I don't have coconut oil here for the purpose of cooking at the camper, but I do have some lard, and that's what I'm going to use today for my chicken. You want to get your fat on and get it heating up. You want it pretty hot when you first start frying your chicken. Okay, let's get the coating for this chicken ready. Now I'm just giving you a basic coating like my grandma used to use. There are all different kinds of ways you can coat your chicken, and all different kinds of ways that I do coat chicken. But I'm just going to do the basic for today like my grandma used to. And I'm just putting enough flour in this bag that I think I can coat all of my chicken. I'm putting about 1.5 cups of flour in there. Next, I'm going to use just a seasoned salt. And I'm going to put probably about 1 tablespoon of that in there. I'm going to add a little extra sea salt. Just a few shakes. And some pepper. Really, you just season it to whatever you like. Sometimes I like to put thyme or sage fresh from my garden in it. It's just really up to you how you want to do it. Okay, now I'm going to shake that all around. And I can hear my grease getting hot over here. Now I wanted to show you, I've got a good bunch of fat in here. There's probably a half an inch filling that pan. This is the biggest secret. You want to have a lot of fat to fry your chicken in, and you want it to be pretty hot. I'm going to start with the wings because they will cook the fastest. And you can see I just put the wings in my bag and shook them up. Make sure to get all of that flour off of those wings. And then let's test it. Yep, that's what you want it to do. See how that sizzled? Alright, we're just going to lay that in there. The other one in there. Now, another thing is, when you are frying chicken, you don't want to put a whole lot of chicken in at once. You don't want them close together. You want them to be able to have plenty of area around them, and that makes them cook up crispier. I'm going to let these wings cook for about 3 minutes, and then I'm going to flip them. While we're waiting, I would like to talk about the temperature of your oil. As it sits there and as you build more flour in your skillet, the oil will get hotter and hotter. You don't want to walk away from frying chicken. You want to be right there because you want to be monitoring the temperature of your fat at all times. If it seems like it's starting to smoke or it's getting a little too hot, you may want to turn your temperature down just a tad. Now you can see where it's starting to, where that just, the juice, the skin just broke open and the juice started to sizzle. So I'm going to check it. Yes, it's brown. And turn it over. Check this one. Perfect. And we're going to let that go another 3 minutes. Okay, now you can see it's sizzling again. It hasn't been quite 3 minutes. I'm just going to go ahead and gently flip them back over, make sure they're browning. Give them a few more minutes to brown the tips of those wings. When I cook chicken, I always put it in the oven. I want to make sure that my chicken is getting really good and done. So when I take these off, I'll be transferring them to a pan, and I will be putting them in the oven at a low temperature of about 275. It's still about an hour before time for supper, so they'll be in there for a while. Next, I'm going to do the leg quarters. These take the longest of all to cook. And you want to remember, my temperature of my oil is increasing all the time. And it's actually cooking the flour that has fell off the chicken. And that will start smoking if you don't keep an eye on your temperature. So leg quarters go in one at a time into the, I put it one at a time into the flour just so I can make sure to get it good and coated, and then lay it in the fat. And I'm going to let that cook for 3 minutes. In 3 minutes, I'm going to turn it over and let it cook on the other side. You can't get in a hurry when you fry chicken. Fried chicken takes all of your concentration. So you usually want to do this up ahead of time. And like I said, put it in the oven and then go ahead and prepare the rest of your meal. Not only does it allow you to be able to focus only on your chicken, but it also will ensure that your chicken gets done all the way through. I know that other people have other methods for frying chicken, but this is a self-taught method. I taught myself how to do this, and believe me, there were a lot of failures before I finally got it right. To me, one of the hardest things to do in the kitchen, one of the hardest, is to fry chicken. Grandma made it look like a snap. But Jay doesn't eat chicken. I mean, he will, but it's not his favorite food, so I don't really cook a lot of it here as far as fried chicken. Normally when I do, it's just the breast meat. My favorite part of the chicken, though, is a drumstick. I'm pretty excited about tonight's supper. Okay, 3 minutes have gone by and I still haven't heard that telltale sizzle. So I'm going to let it go a little bit longer. It just depends on where you have your heat set. And I like it when the fat is dancing like this. I don't want it real bubbly, but I like the steady bubble to it. So I have it turned down to a medium, about a medium heat. Medium high. Now I can see around the edges where it's starting to crisp up. So I think I'm going to turn it over. It's been about 4 minutes now. Bring it over and see how it looks. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, so after 4 minutes I turn them over and you can see how they look. Since these are thighs, I'm going to let them go 4 more minutes on this side, just to make sure they get good and cooked. Okay, for the breast, my husband does not like the skin on his chicken. Like I said, he doesn't like chicken. I mean, it's not his preferred food. But in order to make it to where he'll eat it, I have to take the skin off. And I also take the breast and slice them up into smaller pieces. So you can, I don't know if you saw that, I just sliced that skin because I have a sharp knife, it just sliced right off. Okay, this is a tender, an actual tender that came off of the breast during my cutting up process, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it in there. It's a good enough size. I'm going to just cube this breast up. Also, if it doesn't get I can put this breast in the freezer and use it for another recipe. It does keep really well that way. Okay, there's the breast. Shake it up. And we're just going to put it right in the skillet. We're going to let it cook the same way, 3 minutes each side. Remember, you don't want to crowd your skillet. So only put as much in there that it can freely get fat around it. And it looks like I'm going to get that whole breast in this skillet. Okay, I just turned it over after 3 minutes. You see that little piece is floating. So it's cooking up good. After another 3 minutes or so, I'm going to take that and put it out with the rest of the chicken in the oven, and then I'll finish up my supper. Well, I had a beautiful picture of my golden fried chicken, and somewhere I've lost it. These cooking videos are really hard on me. So what did you think? Did you like the recipe? Leave a comment down below and tell me if you're thinking about trying it, or if you fry chicken a different way. Let us know. I'm working on lots of things in the kitchen to try to get out to you guys, and hopefully Rosie's nosy. Being nosy, Rosie. Sit down. I'm working on some things to get out to you guys. We're going to be going to the farm this weekend, and hopefully there's some progress I can show you there. If you enjoyed my video, hit that thumbs up button, and until next time, love and peace to everyone.